going to do it for you again. God is going to do it for you again. You are living in an answered prayer right now. God has done it for you every single time, and He's going to do it for you again. And I know that you're thinking there's no way that you are telling me I'm living in an answered prayer, because this is not what I prayed for. But think about what you prayed for. It might not be how you wanted it answered, but you are living in an answered prayer right now. And I was having this conversation with someone today, and they just opened up a business about a year ago, and they're exhausted. They're burnt out, okay? They are tired. If you don't know, your first year in business is extremely hard no matter what you do, because you have to constantly work to keep your business afloat. You have to constantly work to keep your family afloat. You cannot afford to pay hardly any employees, if at all, that you can pay employees. So you are constantly working, trying to get the business up, because you didn't have a lot of startup money, so you got to work. And they're burned out, and they were saying how tired they were, and I said, but you are living in an answered prayer, and it is a blessing that you have as many clients as you do. Because one time you were praying, God, when I open this business, when I have my own business and I'm not working for anyone else, because I am now my own boss, Lord, bring me the customers, bring me the clients, bring me what I need in order for my business to succeed. And you are living in an answered prayer, even though you cannot understand it right now because you are tired, you are exhausted. And this is not the same situation. No matter what your situation is, you're saying, I am miserable where I'm at right now. I am homeless. I don't have a vehicle. Whatever your situation is, you are still living in an answered prayer. You ask God to remove you from that place. You ask God to align your life with His will. And even if it's not what you wanted it to look like, it is what God had for you, and you are living in an answered prayer, and He has done it for you every single time, and He's going to do it for you again. And when He does it for you this time, it is going to blow your mind out of the water. You're not even going to recognize your old life, because God is doing a new thing. And I declare this right now, that God has spoken. He is doing a new thing. Do not consider the past. Do not think of former things, because God is doing a new thing. And when He does it for you this time, remember that He is the one who answered your prayers. Because see, a lot of us, when we're going through struggles, when we're going through hardships, we fast, we pray, we say in our word constantly, because you have all this time. You're consumed with time. So you give it all to the Lord, and you're like, Lord, I'm doing everything. But when He answers the prayer and you are caught back up in the world again, you don't pray as much. You don't read your word as much. You don't fast at all, because everything is going great. But God says, when I do it for you this time, remember who has answered your prayers. When I do it for you this time, don't just come to me when you are weary and burdened, but come to me when you are overwhelmed with joy. Come to me when you cannot believe that this is your life. Come to me when I answer it this time, because He is getting ready to do it for you again. I love y'all. God loves you way more.
Now, this morning while I was driving, I got a nice little chuckle. I love the fact that I can always hear from God, and I can get a message out of like anything. That's just that spirit of readiness. And so my good girlfriend Yasmin invited me to a Bible study this morning. And so I'm on the highway on my regular commute, but I'm tuned into the Bible study and I'm listening. And so as I start praying, my practice is to close my eyes when I'm praying. But mind you, I'm on the highway, so I can't close my eyes. But I'm like, you know what? I could actually close my eyes, because I can just have faith that God is going to steer the wheel and keep me safe, and I'll be good. And as I was thinking that was an idea that I could do as a bold leap of faith, I realized that God did not tell me to close my eyes. He did not instruct that go ahead and close your eyes and I'm going to take the wheel. And I got a little chuckle out of that. I kept my eyes open, by the way. But that also reminded me of the story of Peter, because I'm like, wait, well, Peter was able to do something miraculous and God was able to be there to actually have him. But I realized there's context in that story of Peter that I think a lot of us miss. Matthew chapter 14, verse 28 through 29, it says, Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. Come, he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. Now here in this story, we see that Peter was able to actually ensure that it was Jesus out there on the water. And then he said, if it's you, Lord, will you allow me to walk on the water? So he asked for direction first. He asked to be able to ensure that he would be able to do it. And then Jesus replied, come. See, it's very important, because I think a lot of us, we try to be like Peter, and we have times that we just decide to just jump in things and that God will work them out and that we can just have faith that he'll be there. But what I realized in this story is that we have to ensure that not only are we having faith, but we're aligning it with Christ. Like, are we actually asking him, like, Lord, if it's you? When you see that man, he's looking all good and he got that 6-figure salary and you're all excited, are you actually asking before going in and dating, Lord, if it's you? When you see that job and it looks amazing, like, oh my gosh, look at the benefits, look how I'll be able to set my family up. Like, are you going into that interview? Are you going in and accepting, Lord, if it's you, before accepting the offer letter? And not only that, but are we seeking God in the decisions that we make? And then are we actually hearing for the come? Are we actually hearing for God to reply and respond back to us? Yes, come to me, come to this job, come to this person. Like, are we actually doing that? And I think it sounds really simple, but I think a lot of us, we end up drowning in our own waters because we're jumping in and we didn't actually confirm that God was on the other side. We didn't actually confirm that he was there in the water to save us. And I know that we want to have this idea that, you know, in any situation, like, God will make sure I'm good. Yeah, God will make things good in the end. God will be able to work things out. But when you decide to just go and do your own will, when you decide to go and think that you can do things in your own strength without consulting God first, well, that's where we end up drowning. Now, do these things make for good testimonies later? Absolutely. But how many testimonies do I really want to give about how I was broke and struggling? How I was about to get evicted? How many testimonies do I want to give about my heart being broken, by being cheated on over and over again by pretty much the same man, just a different name and a different face? Like, I want to be able to have testimonies where I heard the voice of God and I went to that specific grocery store, and when I got there, somebody decided to pay for my groceries. That's the type of testimony that I want to give. Give me the soft girl testimonies, okay? I don't want to always have the ones where I'm always drowning and how I tell people about how I'm able to be saved by God. Now, truly, there are people that do need to have those testimonies, and that all of us at some point, we should have those testimonies as to how we were in a situation and how we were able to end up seeing God's grace and mercy and how he pulled us out. But again, I urge you to think about the decisions that you make. Are you looking to jump in the waters without confirming that God is actually there and that he has actually instructed you to come through? This position that I just got promoted into, as I was mentioning yesterday, as soon as I was told about the position, before accepting it, before saying that I wanted to move forward, I went into the bathroom and I prayed, because I didn't want to jump into any waters that I didn't know that God was on that side instructing me to come into. And so in that bathroom, I prayed and I said, God, is this you? Like, just like Peter, like, Lord, if it's you, like, tell me to come. Like, let me to know that this is the position that you want for me, that there's a purpose in this. And that's when I heard his instruction in his word, which was go. Okay, so I had my moment where I ensured before me stepping out into this new water that God was actually going to be there with me. And so that's just something, again, kind of started as like a funny story, but I think that a lot of us, we can relate to that. Like, what decisions and what lives are we living in now based on us jumping in the water and waiting, almost drowning in some of those decisions? And how can we start to move forward in our lives by just asking before going into those decisions, by changing that heart to say, listen, let me not try to do things in my own will and in my own power, but let me make sure that this is something that's going to ensure that I'm able to live long. I'm able to enjoy this blessing, what I'm asking for. So let's be like Peter and ask the question, Lord, if it's you. And then make sure that we're hearing his actual word and instruction, which is to come, if so.